Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 4 of the Glued In podcast. Today, I have a very special guest. He is a key contributor to our project Gateway. He has been a DevOps engineer for about 10 years now. He's been a DevOps engineer through energy companies, through a lot of cloud companies, just been in the DevOps space for quite some time, and he's landed himself at Marsh Mclennan. He is in the platform engineering team there, and it's my absolute pleasure to introduce Mayowa Fajobi. Mayowa, do you mind, introducing yourself, saying hello to the audience here? Yeah.
Hi, Anuj. This is Mayowa Fajobi here. I'm glad to be here, really. It's a pleasure, and then I see it as an opportunity, to just speak to folks, clients, doing great things out there. Yeah,
Yeah, no, we're super happy to have you. I know you've been working on Gateway, but you've been obviously in the DevOps space for quite some time. So I'm curious, where did this come from? Where did you start getting into DevOps?
I,
What sparked this? I know
y
you're out of the UK as well, right? I'm over here in Texas, in the USA, but
ama amazing.
yeah,
I think the old DevOps stuff started in uni, way back in uni. My basic background was in networking. Starting off in an energy company networking and all of those things. And then I just felt, okay, there was need for transition, basically. I remember I came across a book online, the Phoenix Project or so, yeah,
yeah.
with talking about DevOps and all of that. So, and then I found that fascinating, and the switch into the whole DevOps, cloud, and the evolution into cloud and DevOps. So that was how I found myself in DevOps, cloud, and all of that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely right. It starts with something, and then all of a sudden you kind of get interested, and then you realize like DevOps is this insane world of so many tools, so many
right.
to do things. And so was that the plan coming out of college for you? Was I'm going to get into DevOps now, I'm going to get into
No, that wasn't the plan actually. So with in college, you were just writing more of, HTML and all of that, just the front end basic. Then after uni,
yeah,
right, went into networking, got a job with a energy company, went into networking, did all some sort of stuffs around IT, and all of that. So that was where then there was an opening in the organization, right?
yeah.
For a cloud support engineer. And then I jumped on that. That was where the whole, reading about the Phoenix project, the book, and then okay. And then as a then, I feel like cloud was the new thing, DevOps was the new thing, the evolution and all of that. Yeah. That was how I found myself in DevOps.
Yeah, that kind of was, when I had first joined IBM, right? I heard about cloud, I heard about Kubernetes and Istio, and I started getting really into it, just like you. And I was like, okay, yeah, this is definitely the future, and I want to make sure that I'm a part of that. So now you're at Marsh McLellan, great company, and before that, I looked and it seemed like you were kind of, at companies, but also freelancing and getting into DevOps and getting into open source. So, you know, I always say there's two types of people, right? People that use open source tools and people that actually contribute and want to move open source tools
Perfect. Yeah.
forward, right? So, you're in that second category, somebody that wants to use open source tools, but also wants to improve it and make it better. So,
Right.
where did this passion come from? Where did you get into open source, right?
So I mean, but before Marsh Mclennan, I'd worked in quite a number of industry ranging from the ed tech, the fintech, some of because I previously worked with a consulting firm, and then we're doing some project for the ed tech, fintech, and all of those industries. So I've been like a consumer of open source projects
Yeah.
right from time. If I remember vividly, I think one of the open source projects, I mean, in the early days was around Terraform,
Mm,
and all of those things. Yeah. So, but I feel like there is need for those projects are open source. There are guys doing the contribution already, and then we as the consumers now are consuming this project. So there is need to give back, to the community. There is need to, network without contributors, without maintenance,
Yep.
these things are not going to be in place for people like us to consume. Hence, I think that's where the surge and then the urge for rather contributing to open source comes from giving back to the community, volunteering, and then I found CNCF. I know most of the open source projects are being donated to the CNCF community at large now. So hence the reason why I'm just attracted to the CNCF. I'll use the word attraction.
No,
Yeah,
I get it. I get it. No, man, absolutely, CNCF has been such a good ambassador for all open source projects and for just allowing that, like the democratization of allowing people to come in and see, what are people contributing to and what am I
yeah.
able to use? And yeah, that you transition right to my next question was, how did you get into CNCF? Did you go to like a KubeCon or did you go to some conference and see some people or, what sparked that interest?
Yeah, I think I was meant to go to one of them, KubeCon. For some reason, I missed that. But, because I'm head of CNCF for a while now, quite a number of projects, Argo CD, Istio itself, and all of these projects that I use personally, I know they have been done, what's it called, managed now by CNCF. Hence the reason. I think that's where my passion for CNCF came in place. And then they all, we have graduated project, incubating project, sandbox project. You just find quite a tons of them on the CSCF website. That is where my passion for, CNCF came in place. And then these guys are doing great things. Trust me, they are doing great things.
Yeah, absolutely. And for viewers here, they're all interested in open source, of course, but they're probably wondering, where do I start? What do I do to actually start contributing? I'm a great developer. I'm grabbing, Kubernetes, or I'm using the Kubernetes Gateway API, and we'll get into Gateway by the way, because I'm very interested in the work you've done there, and I've seen the work you've done, which is wonderful. But where do you start? How do you start in this journey to actually start contributing? What did you do to start out? Yeah.
So I think one thing that caught my attention was I'm an heavy consumer of Ingress now. When I
Mhm.
talk about Ingress, I talk about Nginx Ingress on particularly now. And then I'd read, because I'm a big consumer of Nginx Ingress, you'd want to stay up to date with stuffs around, the tools you're using. And then I know there's what's it called now? Nginx Ingress now is going to stop getting what's it called support and maintenance soon. So that sparked my passion. Okay, what's the next thing we want to do? Gateway API. API gateway and all of those things. I'm like, okay, I'm going to make research and see what I wa- what which of this gateway API project is going to catch my attention. And then I'd worked on Istio and the past too, right? The old side before the evolution of sidecarless, working with sidecar when Istio was still doing all of the old sidecar stuff. And then I knew Istio is a very great product. And then I know this company, the solo.io company now, is in charge of Istio. I think, yeah, I want to go with Gateway, in which I can see the future with solo.io now, and in this contest now. Hence the reason why I just started exploring Gateway, see what's happening there. I think the first thing that caught my attention to for newcomers to who want to go into contributing to open source, you are a software developer, you know it could be on documentations too,
Yeah.
just giving back to the community, volunteering. The first thing you want to do is just go find a project you're interested in, that catches your attention. In my case now, gateway APIs, because I'm a consumer of Ingress upgrade. I know the shift is going towards gateway APIs and all of that. So I found a project I'm interested in. I went through this, first thing I did was to go through the source code, what's happening, how, the whole design and all of that. It caught my attention. The
Yeah.
whole integration with AI gateway and all of that, using the gateway with LLM and a lot of things just caught my attention. And then you'd want to then go through the issues on, the channels or the GitHub repo now. So, and then it caught my attention. My first contribution was global rate limiting. And
Yeah.
I knew this is a really major part in system design now, where you want to be able to configure rate limiting, all of that. I saw that part was missing. And then I did my study, like I said, went through the code base. I was able to get a good understanding, good grasp of the whole architecture, the whole design. And then, yeah, I begin the contribution. And another good thing again is with a project like Gateway, the maintenance, the contributors there, they are quite responsive, you know, always ready to the rates now, I mean, the response rate now is very quick. Trust me. When you have issues, you raise the PR, the Slack channel itself too. When you post a message, you get response as soon as possible. So that like helped, in resolving that issue, and then quite number of reviews I got on that too. I had to then go back, do some extra work, and then, that was how I was able to contribute that major feature now to K Gateway. Yeah.
It is a major feature, and I'm glad you said that too, right? I am a solution engineer here, and so I talk to clients all the time, and they're all, global rate limiting is something that a lot of people need and a lot of people want. So your contribution has helped our open source product move forward and finally get to this new avenue. So what you've done has very greatly impacted a lot of people at Solo, and not just the K Gateway community, but it's you know, I see it, and then I'm like, you saw a problem and you wanted to go and fix it. And
Yeah.
like I'm going to go and create that solution to the problem. A lot of people can't do that. So, when you see something like that, and any open source product that you're using or any project that you're interested in, is that kind of how you approach these solutions, these issues rather? Is like, I see the problem, I'm not worried
Yeah.
somebody else is gonna fix it, but I want to fix it. Is that kind of your approach to a lot of?
Yeah. I think that's my kind of approach, and then I like to challenge myself as well. I know that I think it took me a couple of days or thereabout to fix that issue. I know it's not going to come in handy. This is a big, I think I was going through Lean post as well. So
Mhm.
I saw that, she talked about the whole global rate limiting. And then I feel like, okay, this is something the project needs, is something users need. And then, K Gateway has quite thousands of, users now. I saw the problem and then I had to tackle it. I think I've done that too for quite a number of, other open source projects too. I contribute to, because I contribute to quite a number of other open source projects too, right? So I go through issues and then I see which one is more challenging, I would say. And then I take up on that. I think I like challenges.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It seems that way, right? Because in internally in our engineering team, we're always talking about global rate limiting and stuff like that. So you're creating, you're fixing problems that you don't need to, as an open source contributor, but you want.
Right,
But yeah, and so somebody with your expertise, what I'm thinking, obviously we've seen this kind of shift in DevOps happening. Like there have been increments, right? It's been like virtual machines, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, no, now we want containers. Okay, how do we orchestrate that? Now it's Kubernetes. Okay, now we're moving over. Like, what do AI agents do for us? It's been shifting and it's rapidly changing the environment. So from your first job to now where you're at, how have you seen your tool set and your environment change in the DevOps perspective, right? Yeah.
Starting about the DevOps, I think, and then looking forward to what's happening and what's going to happen. I think it's a rapid evolution. I remember starting off, it's more around scripting, using Bash scripting, Python scripts, using Ansibles to manually provision servers. And then boom, there's the evolution of Argo CD, GitOps principle,
Yeah.
all of these things. And then in the twinkle of an eye, and then now we're talking about AI agents. I see the work the folks at K Agent now doing Agent Gateway, integrating that with K Gateway. I'm still taking my time to, come into that to start
Sure.
contributing.
Yeah.
It's just a rapid evolution. And then as a developer, as yeah, a DevOps person, you need to stay ahead of the game. You need to, or else you just stay outdated. You'll be outdated in no time, really.
Oh yeah.
The speed is, it's something you don't want to miss, trust me. Starting with scripting, uh bash scripting, Ansible and all of that, like I said, and then to the evolution of containerization, Kubernetes, and then Argo CD, you have GitOps now, you have MCPs, you have LLMs, and all of those things. It's just a rapid evolution. It's a rapid evolution. And then one thing I try to do is I try to read articles, read documentations, LinkedIn too is a good place. You get to see what's happening, daily.
Hmm.
That way too, it makes you want to, learn more, see what's happening, explore basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's been a rapid evolution.
Yeah, absolutely right. I also get a lot of information from LinkedIn from colleagues that I follow, and then I see some articles and all of that. Now going to like the K Gateway side, right? Uh, like 2014, I think the end, not 2014, excuse me, 2024, the end of 2024 or so, the Kubernetes Gateway API was open sourced. And then after that, everybody started kind of grabbing it and was like, we've got the best way to do the
Yeah,
Kubernetes.
exactly.
Follow us, follow us. And so K Gateway came out of that as well, right? K Gateway obviously has some CRDs, so other things attached to it that make it different from the Kubernetes Gateway API. But at its core, we wanted to stay open source. So I'm curious, have you messed around with any other products that have taken the Kubernetes Gateway API and said, we have the best
Yeah, because currently I'm working on, writing automated skill tests for K Gateway. And then
Nice.
I was consuming John's blog,
Ah,
right, on the old testing. So I'd run that locally. So exploring other, gateway APIs, the likes of Istio itself, Envoy gateway, Nginx, even Nginx 2 has their gateway. So I've done some exploration, but no contribution majorly in that part now. But I explore the gateway APIs to see their performance, to aid me as well to write the skill test I need to write for K Gateway. I'm currently working on that feature at the moment. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. I just think it's very funny, like 2024, everybody wants a piece. It's kind of like when Google had released Kubernetes itself, right? They had Borg and they're like, here's what we do. And
Yeah.
so, it's
I
been
think
kind
it's a lot of it's a massive competition out there, really.
of,
Everyone is trying to bring their A game. And the maintenance, the contributors themselves too, even the organizations now that owns the project itself too. They have a lot of, there's a lot of competition happening out there.
oh yeah. Oh, 100%. And I think that's healthy. Having
Yeah, healthy competition, yeah.
yeah, yeah, everybody has to create the product that they want and then hopefully the consumer wants it, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
true.
and
I
so
agree.
oh yeah, oh yeah. And then on the global rate limiting side, right? You saw there was a need, but internally with your company or your own day-to-day life in creating applications and trying to make it, was global rate limiting something that was lacking for you with K Gateway, or were you just like, I want to create this because I want to make this feature because I think it'd be better for the community? Because
Yeah, I think my major aim was to make it better for the community, really. I work on like personal projects where, I like to explore tools.
Mhm.
I have the source code itself. Say when Argo City came on newly, I think I had to do like I have like my home lab now where I do exploration on tools that comes out, see how these things integrate, I run load test as well on the servers I provision too, just to see what is going to be like for, when end users consume these or, when I'm having to do this the enterprise way now, where there are a lot of users consuming this. the same thing applies to Gateway. I have like a home lab where I experiment a lot of things, and Gateway has a lot of features, the whole authorization, you're talking about inference extension, rate limit and all of that. So I have like, you know, a project on its own where I explore and do all of these things. And then I found the missing piece, with Gateway. Like that was a major missing piece. And then I felt like this will be beneficial to the community at large. Hence the reason. No more like it was lacking in what the organization I was working at here, or the tools and I was using.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, you said you have a home lab, which is awesome. So you have like a few servers, one server that you're kind of running and then throwing it on the internet, like using like, I'm curious about the
So
OS.
what I do is I have this infrastructure as code. So I work on infrastructure as code. I spin up EKS clusters with Terraform now.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm even exploring cross-plane, all of these things, bringing them together just to see how these things work like. And then with Terraform, you can easily just do your Terraform, you destroy your infrastructure, and then when you need it again, you spin it up. So that's what I do. I have the infrastructure. I explore other things. When there is a new tool, I have these new tools just to see how those things, work together. I even have monitoring in place where I, do the whole open telemetry, the home Prometheus, and all of these things. I have them in place in my home lab. So that's how I get to, you get to learn when you're doing hands-on. And that's one of the advantages of contributing to open source as well. You get to network, you get to meet engineers that have more experience, that have been in the industry for a long time. You get to learn. I believe I am of the school of thought that you learn by doing. You learn hands-on. That's the best way to learn, not just reading books, reading documentation. You have to, put these things into actualizations. That's how you get to learn very well.
I completely agree, and I think for anybody that wants to get into open source that hasn't been able to, break through or understand, I always say, build a home lab, even just a small server. Go grab a computer
Right?
old Dell that you've never cared about. Just take that, take the CPU, the processor, everything, and just build a home lab and try it out and see what you can actually do. So, you're one of the doers and I think that very much defines that you are an engineer, right? You are a creator. You are somebody that wants to actually build something. And did you get that
Right.
from Hertfordshire, like your university? Was that where you kind of like got this idea of I want to be a builder, or where did that
I,
interest spark you?
I think it was when I started, the old DevOps and all of that. That's when the passion came. I noticed that if you just read and then you're not putting this thing into protocols, you tend to forget easily.
100%.
That's one thing I noticed. And then, picking up Golang too, because my background wasn't in software engineering, right?
Mhm.
I don't write code. As I mean, it's like I said, I came from the networking background and then switching to DevOps. So along the line, I needed to pick up, a language and then looking at the ecosystem, Kubernetes and all of these other tools written in Go. And then I'm like, okay, this is written in Go. I should give this a
I
go,
should try
if that
it.
makes sense, right? So what I did, I picked up some Udemy courses,
Yeah.
but just watching videos now, even for new contributors, you don't have to like be a software developer before you can start contributing, or for newbies in the ecosystem. Now you don't have to be a software developer, you don't have to have a software development background before you start contributing. It could be something you start doing along the line, and then what's best is you can just pick up a what's it called, an Udemy course, go through that. But the best thing is, even after watching those videos, going through those courses, you need to learn by doing. I think that has really helped me. That has really helped me in my career, where, after reading about something, watching a video, you want to put these things into actualization, see what's happening. That way you run into error, you can debug, troubleshoot while searching for information, you get to learn more. Yeah,
Yeah, I agree. And just like you, my background was mechanical engineering, right? I was working on cars in college and stuff like that, right? And then all of a sudden I move over to this DevOps role. You never know what sparks your interest,
right.
but 100% agree. You learn by doing. I can't tell you how many times I've broken something and been like, can somebody help me? And then somebody comes in and helps, right?
Right.
That's just the engineer mindset. It's like, ooh, does this work? No, it doesn't. All right, let me go figure out if somebody else.
Experience teaches you best.
Yeah, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And so, yourself now as you move forward, with obviously K Gateway, and helping us out there. We're branding it and we're moving it forward as a gateway solution for LLMs and AI, but it obviously is a gateway solution that was spun off of Kubernetes gateway API. But for you, what do you see this actually being used in your day-to-day life or like in your company or anything? Do you feel like K Gateway will be moving in, or is it more of you're just interested in networking?
It,
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's very likely to be honest, because now there is evolution of MCP servers, AI agent communications, and I believe there is not much project out there doing these things,
Yeah.
and I see organizations adopting this because either we like it or not, LLM, all of these things, AI has come and it has come to stay. Either
Mhm.
we like it or not. I just tell developers just try and leverage this. I speak to folks. I have like few guys I mentor and all of those things. Just try and leverage these tools to your advantage. It speeds up your day-to-day work and all of these things. So with K agents, I'm exploring K agent. I know it's still in sandbox stage. So but
Okay.
I see this moving to, incubating to graduated and then where enterprise organizations can make use of these things. And I think that's just where we need to get to first. And then, yeah, we could say companies now can then, start making use of these things. But the speed at which this project is moving is crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I think K-Agent has just it's been, if I'm not mistaken, this year, right?
I
If
think.
I'm not mistaken, this year, but you need to see the
Oh,
adoption
okay.
and
Yeah,
yeah, K agents, not K gateway. Yeah, K
yeah,
agents.
yeah, yeah. K
Yeah, K
Agent
agent.
and K Gateway have been rocket ships this entire year since January. And it's very funny because obviously K Agent has to do with AI, LLM,
Yeah,
like an assistant. But K Gateway itself was we have an idea and we think this is the right way to use the Kubernetes Gateway API. And then we did put in some stuff about LLMs and stuff about like AI, but it just blew up all of a sudden. And maybe,
trust me.
yeah, maybe it's the AI wave that people are wanting it, but sincerely within Solo, we were just thinking like, what can we make to be a good ingress egress solution that is still using Envoy that we can give to our clients. So it's just blown up extremely fast. But
Yeah,
I'm curious.
it is.
Oh yeah. But Istio. So you were working on Istio a little bit, or did you ever think about contributing to Istio, the project? It's such a huge project now, right? Like I think it was like Lyft, Google, and IBM all created it and said just threw it to CNCF, like, yo, go do whatever you want with it. But how did you get into Istio? Was it a need via your job, or were you just like, hey, this is a cool solution that could help with Kubernetes?
It still was a need for my job then. That was how I got into it still. But, the whole idea of contribution has not really, because even sometimes it's just you find interest in something and then you want to explore basically. And
Yeah.
sometimes you just want to consume those products and sometimes you want to, contribute. But of recent now, I have, cloned down the history repo and then I've started looking at, exploring the architecture. Now, it's a different thing when you are just a consumer. You focus more on docs, documentations, articles out there to get along with what's happening with Istio. But it's a different case now where you want to start contributing. You need to study how the project has been structured, the design, the architecture, which is what I have been exploring of recent now. So yeah, contribution on Istio is coming soon. It's
Yeah.
coming soon. I
Yeah.
know a lot of like there are a lot of you know thousands of contributors, if I'm not mistaken, on the Istio projects. I'll be glad to be one of the contributors to that great project.
No, absolutely. In my last episode, I had somebody who was contributing to K Agent, and his name's Dimitro, and he was talking about Istio as well. And it's the same thing
It's
you said.
great,
Like,
great, great products. The whole, mutual TLS, doing all of those things. It is really a great product. I've done quite a lot of work around Istio with the old sidecarless. I think it was still sidecarless when I was, working on Istio until it was still sidecar rather until the old sidecarless, the ambient mesh, and all of those things. Yeah. So now I'm looking at, going through the source code, see what can be, improved, contribute, even if it is documentations or bugs. I mean, I could start from there, really. So it's something I'm exploring already.
yeah, no, absolutely. And I like Istio is such a huge project, right? There's so many contributors. So for you to go to like K Gateway and just like my last podcast in Dimitri, he went to K Agent because you can find a community there, and then you can be an actual contributor. You can feel your work actually.
Yeah, right.
Because Istio is so huge. Like, like there's so many people contributing to it every single day. And personally, I used to work for HashiCorp. It was the same thing about Terraform. It was the same thing about Vault. There's so many contributors. So getting in early.
Yeah, might be getting in. Yeah, I think you're right on that. Getting in early, getting your foot in early to a project like Istio, it's a graduated project. First of all, it's an enterprise, ready project too as well, right? So getting your foot in and feeling among and belong to might be difficult at first, really. I
Yeah.
think you're right on that. I agree with you on that.
Yeah, yeah, I think, and I mean, I think a lot of viewers want to hear this too, is how did you obviously K Gateway is, 1,000 followers. It's not Istio, but it is moving forward and it's moving forward rapidly. How did you kind of just okay, I'm going to do K Gateway, and this is what I want to do. Like, I guess your eye for open source projects that are going to move forward, where did that come from? Was it just experience of like you've been working with open source products before, you know which ones are going to fail, which ones are actually going to move forward, or was it just honestly gut feeling? Like, I think K Gateway is great. I want to use that. Yeah.
I think Kgateway is great. That's why I stick to it. And then, like I said, when you are contributing and then the community itself quite responsive, I think it just encourages you. Basically, it encourages you. Like I said, I've contributed to quite a number of open source as well. I contributed to the GitHub MCP server itself too, where because sometimes I'm just curious what's happening behind the scene. I use MCP servers too, and then I was just curious to explore what's happening behind the scene. I think that too helps my curiosity. So I think with K Gateway, yeah, I'm recently become a member of the project.
Yeah, I saw.
Yeah, yeah, I've recently become a
Congratulations, by
member
the
of it.
way.
Yeah, thank you. So
Yeah.
I've recently become a member of the project, and there is more to do as well. There is more to do. There is more to learn. There is more to contribute, and then it just helps to you connect with like-minded. You connect with industry experts. You learn from them. You see how things are being done separately. Also, you get to feel that sense of belonging. Yeah, I think it's a good one for me.
Yeah.
I like that feeling.
Yeah, absolutely, right? Your job will obviously give you, salary and then will give you that sense of like this is my but like when you have a passion just like you and you're like I want to contribute and I want to move forward with something like this, that does give you that sense of belonging. And I absolutely appreciate that. And one of the
Yeah.
things I love about open source is that, we give it out there and then smart people like you come in and say, I
Yeah.
want to help and move that forward.
And then when thousands of people are using, a product you are contributing to, I think that feeling is unmatched.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you mess up on it, thousands of people are gonna have to use that
Exactly.
feedback. So either you get a good result or an end result.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, last question I have for you is it's more of like a fun question. Is I see in the US, DevOps is moving forward, platform engineering is moving forward, IDPs are here, K agents here. I'm curious about you over, I guess across the pond, over in the UK. Like how is the landscape of DevOps changing over there to the US? Because US is just, we're moving forward no matter what. Like whatever is the tool that we want, we're gonna do that. But I'm curious how this moves forward in a different part of the country. Yeah.
I think it's
Or
quite the
world.
same. So yeah, I think it's quite the same. So in the UK as well, it's I like to use the word rapid. Rapid, these things are moving in rapid. I think recently I was reading a news or something or an article where the UK government itself putting out millions of pounds just to for researchers, scientists, artificial intelligence scientists now to come do some research. So I think broadly now this evolution around AI, no one wants to be left behind,
Yeah.
really. The
Yeah.
same thing is happening in the UK. Folks are doing great jobs. Folks are doing great things, events, all of those things are happening around. The UK government itself, they are, putting in more effort, more money now again, even to see those things come into actualization. So no one wants to be left behind. Even in the United Kingdom, no one wants to be left behind,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess I was like maybe it's like a coping thing where it's like is AI just a huge wave here in the US? No, it's a wave
It
everywhere right now.
it is a wave. It is a wave everywhere. Imagining having to push out millions of pounds just to support the move. It is. Trust me,
Yeah.
it is.
Absolutely. Well, Mayo, we appreciate you jumping on the pod here, and just giving us your insights. And obviously, at your age, being able to do this much in open source and contribute this much, I would say you're a unicorn. There's not a lot of people like you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and so we obviously at Solo, we appreciate all you do for K Gateway. Please keep contributing. For
Definitely.
for our viewers, I'm gonna link Mayowa's GitHub and his LinkedIn into the comment section. So if you want to see some of the cool stuff he's doing, uh, especially around global rate limiting, because that is actually something that we all wanted at Solo. So when he did that, that was amazing. I'm gonna link all of that in the description. But again, Mayowa, thank you so much for
Thank
joining. And
Thank you. And I have one word for solo,
please, please,
I like to use the word extensible and
yes,
future proof. That's what, solo as a company is. Because, you want something where you can just, plugins and then just expand. I think that's one thing solo as an organization, the project they are pushing out there, Istio, K Gateway, K agents, easily extensible. And that's one amazing thing about this whole project. Like Kubernetes too, API focused, where you know you it can expand. It can
yeah,
expand. You
yeah.
don't have to rebuild and do all of these things, which is a great thing. Yeah. And yeah, so I'm shouting out, giving a shout out, basically.
No, that's totally fine. And extensibility is super important. And this kind of like leans into my final, ask for you is, I'm new to think I'm new to DevOps. I'm new to this. I just got hired as like a junior DevOps SRE. I don't know what I'm doing. What advice would you give to me? What advice would you give to that new guy who wants to look into open source but doesn't know where to start?
I think, yeah, it's something similar to what I've said. The first
Yeah.
thing is first thing is find a project you feel like you are interested in or that catches your attention. In my case now, like I said, I knew there's going to be an evolvement from Ingress to APIs now. So
Yeah.
I found that as something I have interest in, and then I went for it. It could be open telemetry, it could be, APIs. It doesn't like there are tons of projects out there really. So one thing you want to such person would want to do first is find one of those projects you are interested in. Look at the what's it called now? Read through the um, source code, read through the document. Obviously, they have documentations, readme files, an entry point into the project, and
Yeah.
as well, there are good first issues where you that seems quite they don't seem what's the word now? Um, too hard to resolve. So you want to look through the
Yeah, like
good first
owner.
issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You want to look through the good first issues, see if it's something you can, pick up and, work on. Yeah, and then you start from there before you know it, really. And then I believe most of the projects too, like the K Gateway, the contributors, the maintenance, and the folks there contributing to the project, they are really helpful. They're really
Yeah.
helpful. So you get reviews on whatever work you put out there. You go back, it gives you avenue to learn. You read more on the documentations or for instance now, like I visit the Go documentation very often when I'm writing. I
Me too.
use I use agent to I use AI to just to put all of these things together, learn about these things. I remember when I was contributing to I was contributing the rate limiting, I had to sleep on the Envoy documentation, trust me, because I'm consuming libraries from there. I had to sleep on that, see what's happening. You're clicking one link, it's taking you to the next link, and then man, it was overwhelming, but I was glad I was able to put that kind of contribution out there.
Yeah.
So I just believe you start small. If that's the case, you start small and then from there you go. And then there are amazing contributors out there where you get reviews and you're not alone. Yeah, you're not
Absolutely.
alone.
That's great advice. And to your point, I think a lot of open source projects is a lot of chaos engineering, and all of a sudden something beautiful comes out of it. So what you described at Envoy, like going and then there's a link and there's another link and there's another link, and you're like, can you just tell me how to deploy this correctly? I've been there, man. So I get
Right?
yeah, I get it. But through that chaos, something beautiful is always born.
Definitely.
And that's
Definitely.
what open source is for. Um,
Definitely.
and again, I'll say, Mayowa, thank you so much for being a part of the podcast. Hopefully, we'll have you on later on in a few episodes. We'll see what
I
K
mean,
gets.
I'm open to conversations,
Yeah,
sharing ideas. Yeah, I'm open. Trust me.
absolutely, absolutely. But to our audience, like I said, I will link Mayowa's GitHub and his LinkedIn if you want to connect with him or if you want to see the projects he's doing. Please feel free to do so. But with that it concludes episode 4. Mayowa, again, thank you so much. And
Thank you, Anuj. Thank you for
yeah.
having me. It's a pleasure.
Absolutely. And we will see you guys in episode 5. Okay.
All right, bye. Cheers.
Bye. Cheers. Cheers.